that were the dark times, because on one hand you're confused, blaming the self with the kindness coming from family, blaming the self more because you somehow see their sad face and know you have put them into that condition. So there's a further double kind of disadvantage of mental pressure. Dealing with the disease, it's a stigma, and the fact that you're hiding from your own friends. You're not, in meeting people, normally we talk about silly things too. But to keep a very big secret inside you and meet people, meet old familiar faces like school friends, that can be very heavy. And then you're seeing the sad faces around you, and and they're sad because they haven't understood the disease, what extent is going to damage the progression. Nobody has knowledge because none of the doctors have told that this is not like the horror story where you see limbs falling off. Because I kept imagining that one day when I wake up, my limb would fall off. Seriously. It is like absolutely the lack of knowledge of a paradigm that doesn't exist for you till now. So coping would have been extremely difficult. And then there would have been times when you think, should you run away, but where? And then you even talk about little bit in the head, however, nobody troubled you still. Shall I end my life? But how? These are real. I'm talking from my own feelings. And then also, when you see a pathway to reach out, I had met a guy in Coimbatore who was working for the government hospital in Leprosy. But my sister, whom I was accompanying for a government exam test, the moment he said, this man was also writing the test, and we got chatting while waiting for the exam to begin. So, when this man told the place he was working, my sister immediately signaled to me to cover my arms with the dupatta, that the Indian shawl that you wear with the salwar suit, because I had this glistening patch. The funny thing is, neither of us thought we could show the patch to him and take his help. Missed opportunities because you're so depressed, you don't see. And then when I came to Bangalore to live with my cousin and his wife, my wife was a captain in the Air Force hospital, and she came and told that that was a sad day for them because an airman, Air Force young officer, committed suicide because he was admitted in the Air Force Command Hospital because he had leprosy. And the Air Force would take care of the patient, there's not a problem. But in God knows how the doctor and the nurse and everybody interacted with him, that he must have found it very heavy. And I don't know, he took his life. And there I was sitting in that house listening to my cousin's wife and telling myself that to that man that I'm so sorry I caused your death. Even then I'm not telling her that I have just got cured or something like that. So the pressure builds up when you see situations around you where you start blaming yourself further and further, or pitying the self further or something. My way of dealing with it was because I had the kind of money, my family had the kind of exposure. I wanted to be away from that city where people saw me before and people are seeing me now. And wherever I went, if I bumped into people from school, they said, "What happened to you?" I just didn't want. And then my sisters were growing up, and my younger sister was looking so pretty. And I kept thinking, I'm looking so bad. So there was that kind of look wise, that sadness. And to cope, the only way was to convince the family that I want to come to another city. So Coimbatore, mom's and dad's home, our home, to Bangalore. to be with strangers where people saw me how I was and never don't know me, they never saw me.